Testing? It works. Hey everybody. Um Welcome to my first ever stream of Metal Gear Solid 4. Continuing the saga of the Metal Gear Solid series from where we left off, or the Metal Gear series to be more precise. Just before I hit live, the installation finished. The thing about this game, this was I think a launch title for PS3, or pretty close to launch when the PS3 first came out. If the disc becomes dirty, wipe it gently with a soft cloth. Yes. So a lot of games back then required full installation before you could actually play them. Handle the disc carefully in order to avoid damaging it. Damaging the disc may prevent the game from operating properly, thanks to the PSAs. And so this game was no exception. Almost every game had to be fully installed and it took forever when you first got it. Connecting the PlayStation 3 system to a plasma television or non-LCD projection television may cause burn-in, which is also known as image retention, which just burns the image on your TV screen, basically. Burn-in is more likely to occur if a still image is left on screen for an extended period of time. And that brings me to what I was saying. This game's installation process, they're aware of it, so they keep an animated screen like this going, basically, as a screensaver. Konami's not responsible for any damage resulting from misuse. So yeah, this keeps looping like this until the game finishes installing. Smoking warning. Cigarette smoke has detrimental effects to you and those around you, particularly infants, children, and the elderly. Have consideration for others when choosing to smoke. Nice PSA. I feel like they include these because it feels politically correct, or they just, they're aware of what they might be promoting subliminally by showing Snake smoking during the installation screen. Just over and over, he just constantly keeps smoking. Stealth warning. You're about to embark on a stealth mission. Your objective is to make your way to the goal while avoiding... I didn't read the rest, but I think it's just a detection by enemies or something. Enemy soldiers will use sight, sound, and smell to detect you. Upon detection, they will attack. Excessive noise, reckless behavior, getting too close to the enemy can have severe consequences. For anybody who's new to this series and the concept of stealth in a video game. Which is fair, not every game really had that. I heard a streamer recently talk about the fact that games should have stealth as an option in general, because it's immersion breaking to be walking along and an enemy just spots you when their back is turned to you, just because you entered some kind of weird radius around them. They're just like, oh, there you are. It's like, what the fuck? Changing position, crouching and lying flat are effective methods of avoiding yada yada yada. This is whatever. Okay, there's some interesting things that they say here while you're installing the game, but I feel like because the game has finished installing, it's actually showing different things. Like, it was talking about cleaning the disc, about smoking, which we saw a little bit of that. There was one where it said, like, don't play, make sure to be as far away from the TV as possible when you play, obviously so that you don't hurt your eyes or whatever. There was another one where it said, like, if you start to feel ill, stop playing immediately. Stop playing the game immediately. Things like that. I thought it was pretty neat. And I thought about starting the stream while the installation was happening, but it literally asked me, do you want to install the data for all acts, which there's 5, all 5 acts basically, all at once? And I said yes, and it said it's going to take 16 minutes. I was like, alright, we're not spending 16 minutes staring at this, and listening to me blabber and look for bullshit to talk about for 16 minutes. But maybe it wouldn't have been a bad idea, because we're already 4 minutes in and I'm still blabbering. Yeah, I don't know if there's any difference between this, oh, there it is, see? Avoid playing when you are tired. I was looking for these, but it was starting to give, like, in-game tips and stuff. I don't know if there's any difference, I don't think there is, between versions, but I have the original, right here. Metal Gear Solid 4. I got it on release. There it is, Guns of the Patriots. But we're playing... Be sure to take a 15-minute break every hour. See? And I take a 10-minute break every 2 hours. The sacrifice I make for y'all. We're supposed to be taking 15 minutes every hour. But yeah, I've been playing this one, of course. Metal Gear Solid 1 through 2. This entire little Metal Gear marathon has been from this version. There it is. If you begin to feel ill, stop playing immediately. But yes, I do have the original as well. But I think so far the only difference is the disc. Like the disc for this one is just Snake's face. Old Snake over here. He should not look this old, but you'll find out why he does. Story reasons, of course. You'll find out when we start why he does, but yeah, he should not look this old. He's 40, what did we determine he was at this point? 47 or 42? I think it was 42, I can't remember. Like, he should not look this, like, he looks like he's 60 or 70. um, but yeah, there's a reason for that. Anyway, yeah, so I've been playing that one. This one did not have a day one patch or anything. Do not leave the disc in a hot or humid place, such as near a heater or inside a car. Alright. If the disc becomes dirty, wipe it gently with a soft cloth. I think that was the last one that played before I actually started my stream. But yeah, this game you have to install like any other, but it didn't have a day one patch, and it hasn't had any patches because it's never been installed on this PS3 system that I'm using right now. Handle the disc carefully in order to avoid damaging it. Oh, we saw this already. Yeah, so it's looping through in a certain order, and we saw these already. Anyway, I've never installed it on this PS3, and as soon as I started it, I was waiting for it, just like the other disc that from this version that I just showed right here. The other disc, it had a day one patch. Like as soon as it didn't have to install anything, but it said an update is required if you want to stay connected to PlayStation Network, yada yada. And I was like, all right, cool, fine, I'll take it, whatever. This one didn't have that. I was surprised. I was waiting for it, and it never popped up. I was like, oh, okay, there's no day one patch for this. Okay, cool. I guess because it was a launch title and PlayStation Network was barely being established when the PS3 launched. They weren't really like big on that yet. So the good thing about that is the game is fully complete from the beginning. You don't need a day one patch to fix bugs and glitches that they were too lazy to check before releasing the game. Imagine that. That was amazing, wasn't it? It was an amazing little pocket of time. Not really. I mean, basically every game before the PS3 and Xbox 360 era was like that. Once the internet became a big thing for video games like PlayStation Network and Xbox Live, that's when they got lazy and said, if we miss any bugs or glitches during testing, we can just, give it to them through a day one patch. If people don't have internet, that's their problem. Let them play the glitchy, broken version we sold them on the disc. But people who have internet and sign up for PlayStation Network and Xbox Live, they'll get the update that fixes the game that we refused to actually take our time in making sure it was actually bug-free before releasing it, SMH, I know. Just like... You bastard! Yeah, I know, Orch. It's a shame. But anyway, yeah, so it was a 16-minute installation to install all the acts. But now here's the thing. I remember when I first played this on my old PS3, the other version right there that I showed you, it didn't let me do that. Or maybe this is still going to happen, the game's lying to me. But I remember I had to install every act separately as I went through the game. So when I finished one act and went to the next one, we got back to this fucking screen again, and I would have to wait like 5 minutes or something for it to install the next act and uninstall the previous act. So maybe there is differences in this re-release for the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection. Instead of a day one patch, maybe they changed the game on the actual disc itself, so now you can install all the acts at once and not have to do that between every act, which is what I did right now, hopefully, but we won't know until we get to the end of the first act to see if we still have to install the other ones separately or not. I don't know. Well, let's get started, shall we? Whew. See, I still rambled a lot, but that was only 8 minutes. We'd still have to sit here for another 8 minutes after this point to wait for it to finish installing if I'd actually started the stream when it was still installing, but I did us all a favor and skipped that shit. Alright, let's do it. If you notice, Snake...
Kept you waiting, huh?
Classic line. He's been saying that ever since the first Metal Gear Solid, right? When you finish going up the elevator. Kept you waiting, huh? He always says that. That's why it became like his intro for Smash Bros. As well. And as always, we're playing a new game, and it's technically on a new console. We were playing PS2 games on a PS3, remasters of PS2 games on a PS3 before. So, this is an actual native PS3 game now. So the frame rate's not going to be that great, probably. It's not a remaster of anything. And we're going to have to go through audio checking again. I'm going to have to check every stream, at least for the first couple, to make sure it's not too loud or too quiet compared to my voice. So the first couple streams are probably going to sound really off balance, audio-wise. But right now my audio settings are the same as they were for Snake Eater. Metal Gear Solid 3. So let's hope, let's hope these audio settings work. I'm looking at OBS right now and it looks like the game looks pretty loud. There's like a green, yellow, and red. Red being the loudest for the decibels, like the little audio thing. It's well into the yellow with what we just saw, and it sounds pretty quiet to me, so obviously I gotta raise my TV a little. Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. Tactical espionage action. Reminds me of the white flower field we fought the boss in at the end of Metal Gear Solid 3. Man, the early PS3 era, the graphics still look like PS2 games, but just like slightly upgraded, you know? Look at that, 2008 copyright. I believe the PS3 came out in 2007, so it wasn't a launch title, but it was like 1 year later. I remember this is what made me buy a PS3, because remember I told you I wanted to see a sequel to Metal Gear Solid 2 ever since that cliffhanger ending, right? So I was super excited. I was like, I need a PS3 now so I can play MGS4. But I also bought it because Grand Theft Auto 4 was coming out like the next year or in a couple years, I think. Or maybe the same year, actually. I think GTA 4 came out at the end of 2008, like in October or something. So I was like, 2 games I really want are coming out for PS3, it's time to buy one. I did not buy one at launch when they were scarce and people were like fighting over them and all that and scalping them and shit, because I was just like, dude, why? There's no games I want to play on it yet. I don't see the need in buying a console until there's a game I want to play for it. Why the fuck would I just have it sitting there like a paperweight, doing nothing? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not buying the console until there's a game I want for it. Unfortunately, with PS5, that screwed me over a little bit. Because then when I wanted one, you know, after the game, the console was released and there was no more pre-orders because it was out, I couldn't fucking find one. You still can't find one, dude. Like, PS5s are still hella scarce. I had to buy mine, like, at a slightly discounted, like, scalper fucking website that a friend showed me, where I was able to actually get it at a reasonable price instead of, like, thousands of dollars or whatever the fuck they were selling them for way back then. I don't know how much they're still being scalped for now, but I know they're still nearly impossible to find. Holy shit! He just loaded that gun and got on his knees. Is he about to do what I think he's gonna do? This is a very dark title screen. Yep, he's doing it. Damn. Let me read what the game case says for the original game. The original Metal Gear Solid 4 game case, right here. In the back it says, in his final battle, a hero must stand alone. I won't read the rest, because fuck it, it's just a weird synopsis, but the main takeaway from that is, in his final battle. What is this, like VR training or something? I remember they made all these Never Shot in the Dark. What is this? The hell? They made all these live action skits for this game that play like commercials when you first start the game. We're about to see a bunch of stuff like that when I hit start, which I'm going to now because it's going to show the same thing. Alright, let's do it. New game, load game. My old save date of this game is on my old PS3, so gotta start fresh, which is fine. I don't mind. I did complete this game a few times before GTA 4 finally dropped and I had another game to play. And I got the Stealth and Infinite Ammo Bandana, which require you to kill absolutely no one. 0 kills and 0 alerts, which I have failed to do in the past few games, so I'm not confident I'm going to do that again this time, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to unlock both of those New Game Plus items on this playthrough, but I can't guarantee anything. What's this? Yeah, see? Install settings, cumulative install or full install. I don't know if this was an option for me. I would have done full install if I knew I could. I'll have to put in my old disc just to see if this was available, but I'm pretty sure I was forced to do this, the cumulative, or individual act, or whatever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had to do this. If I had the option to do this and I didn't, I was an idiot back then. I don't know why I chose this back then, but I fondly remember having to install each act separately. When installing the data needed for each act... Oh, I think I did this instead. That's why. So it was only my first playthrough where I had to install each one. I did this instead of the full install at the beginning because I guess I was too impatient to sit 16 minutes through the fucking full install for some reason. And this time I wasn't. What's this? Extras. What do we got? I always like to check everything in the menus before starting the game, but it's not a good thing because sometimes you get spoilers in these games for some reason, like that. Oh, is this like... Yeah, it's defunct at this point. I think this is how you like gained access to Metal Gear Online or whatever. They made the multiplayer game. I can't remember though. Virtual range? Oh, so obviously this is like VR. Yeah. Whatever. Photo album. Metal Gear Online and Metal Gear Solid 4. We're gonna be taking some photos because there's some very interesting Easter eggs in this game that we'll talk about when we get to them. We might not even get to the first one in this part, but some of y'all already know about the Easter eggs that this game has. It's along those lines, for those who know what that sound effect usually represents when I play it. Yeah. Toggle mode, what is this? Up and change? Oh, okay, yeah, this stuff. What's this? Oh, it doesn't describe it this time. I know what it means though. On and off. Recall is what I've done in some previous Metal Gear Solid games in this marathon. You switch back to the last weapon you had equipped. Cycle, you go in order through all your weapons. Same for items, basically. I think I'll do recall. It's usually more useful. Usually. But you know, there's a lot of CQC, a lot more CQC in this game. Maybe that might not be a good thing. Hopefully I can, maybe I'll change this later if I regret it, but... For now, we'll do recall. You bet your ass I want lock-on. MGS3 did not have this. This, especially if you play on the easiest difficulty, makes the game dead easy. Like, every Metal Gear Solid game as the games came out was progressively easier than the last one. Partially because they would add new quality of life features and options like this. This one is definitely the easiest when you play it on the easiest difficulty. Out of all the games we've played so far. Okay, I want this inverted, of course. Inverted. First person inverted. Yep. Remember first person view. Remember where the camera's in first person view when the L1 button is delete. Let's see that I know. I feel like it'll be janky if I put yes in that. Default. Camera automatically points to when entering manually. Oh, I think I know what it's trying to say. When you're not using lock-on. Either he'll aim right in front of him, or he'll aim downwind of where your camera is looking, as if you were in first person, basically. So if Snake was facing the screen and you suddenly hit the aim button, and you have it set to camera, he'll turn around, so you'll see his back, and he'll be facing, you know... Yeah, that's probably better. How fast view change takes place. Language settings, select language used in game English. Cutscene subtitles, definitely. During gameplay, yep. There's a lot more, this is when they first started barely dipping their toes into the water of, trying to make games more disability friendly. They were actually starting to add quality of life features for people who were hard of hearing and stuff like that. There's just more robust options now for games in general. And it started around the PS3, 360 era, when they started sort of adding things like that. It's partially why games have gotten easier, if you choose to play them on their easiest difficulty, for games that have that option. Because, you know, they want to make games more accessible to a wider audience, and not everybody has the reflexes of a fucking teenager that plays Call of Duty. for several hours a day. So, you know, things like mashing the X button to resist the torture, Ocelot's torture in Metal Gear Solid 1. Now you can, for some games, like we played, what was the damn Until Dawn spiritual sequel from the same company that we played it back in the summer? After I finished Endwalker, oh my god, what the hell is it called? The Quarry! Like, it has that option so that instead of rapidly tapping the button, you just hold it down. Or even just push it once. Things like that. Like, people can see that as cheating, and yeah, if you're not disabled, or you can do that, but you choose to do that instead, yeah, you are making the game easier, and you can call that cheating if you want. But some people genuinely can't do that. Like, they can have injuries or just born with disabilities that won't let them do those things, and then they can't play these games. So it's like those options are a nice way to, make the game more accessible to people who can't do those things, basically. It's kind of a choose-your-own difficulty sort of thing, but also, to make the game more accessible to people who have to play on easier difficulties because they literally physically cannot play on the hardest one because of things like that. Rapidly pushing a button, yada yada. External output. Adjust the volume level when incoming codec output device is set to external. Oh, so I'm guessing you can set this so that if you wear a headset, you hear your codec calls through there. Oh god, hopefully we don't have another issue like Metal Gear Solid 2 where you guys won't be able to hear the codec calls and I won't even be able to tell. Shit. I haven't changed my PS3's audio settings. It's still outputting sound on 3 different channels, so hopefully you guys will be able to hear the codec calls. But I'm definitely have to check this stream when I'm done to make sure, that that's true. See, here's another thing, the size of icons. For people who, well, Xenos and a few other YouTubers who play, and Twitch streamers who play FF14 talked about this, right? How they want the little number for the cooldowns on the skill icon to be bigger, things like that. Because, their eyes, they can't... For some people, it's like... I mean, I wear glasses, I know what it's like. You can't read a number if it's too small. So here we go, this is an accessibility thing right here. A quality of life / accessibility option. You can make the icon large, in case you're really blind, basically, so you can actually see what the hell's happening on screen. Well, when you look through your inventory. I'll leave it normal for now. I don't remember if I changed it to large when I first played this game. I'm having a vague recall right now that I did, because they were pretty fucking small icons. But I feel like if I change it to large right now, it might take up too much of the screen, so I'll wait and see what it looks like. And then hopefully I can change it in-game. Hopefully. Select button, display control explanation? Well, what else? Use codec. Well, how would I use my codec if I didn't use this? Blood on or off? Blood will always appear in cutscenes. Go fuck yourself. We're not ruining our artistic vision, basically, when it comes to the cutscenes. But with gameplay, sure, you can turn it off. Okay. Alright, that's pretty much everything. I'll leave it at that. Maybe there's another button for the codec, and if there's not, then I'll definitely change this, but I'm pretty there probably is some other way to access the codec. So I'll leave it at that for now. View an explanation of each mission. If this is anything like Metal Gear Solid 3, we'll see them as we play the game. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, see, there you go. Act 1 mission briefing. I don't know if this plays when we hit new game, so... Alright. For this one we'll watch. I'm pretty sure all the other mission briefings play, as you're playing through the game. But Act 1 might not play unless you actually watch it here. I don't know. Find out! Let's fuck around and find out. I know, we're 24 minutes in, we haven't even started the damn game. I ramble a lot. But imagine if we had to sit here 16 minutes while it installed, and then we did all this shit. How much... We'd be like 40 minutes almost right now. We'd be at almost 40 minutes right now. And still not even watching this yet. By the way, this game is basically a movie though. So grab your snacks and strap in. I might do that eventually, because...
2 eggs today? Holidays must have taken the day off. 7, 8, 9, 2, 5, 9, 0, 3, 6, 0.
Singing with numbers. I like it.
14665
Sounds quiet. Kind of wait check the audio of my phone, even though it doesn't really help me.
The Manhattan incident triggered a serious public backlash. Now the U.S. has to think twice before intervening militarily in other countries' affairs. This has fueled a push towards military privatization, with PMCs at the heart of that movement.
PMCs? Private military companies?
That's right. PMCs have no basis in nations or ideologies. They are private enterprises, driven by profit. In addition to dispatching mercenaries to war zones, they secure weapons and train local soldiers. They're contractors for war itself, and business is good. Their clientele includes developed nations like the U.S., rebel factions looking to seize power by force, smaller countries lacking armies of their own, even terrorist groups. They're in the Americas, Asia, the South Pacific, Europe, Africa, the Middle East. The rise of the PMC has spawned a war by proxy, and it's spreading across the globe.
They're
Sonny, we'll eat them later, okay?
Oh my gosh, she's
Every
cute.
age has its mercenary. These PMCs
I'm guessing
are
she's
nothing
probably
new.
Olga's daughter.
We've been dealing with them since before the turn of the century.
No, Snake. They're
She
nothing
kinda just
like
looks
the
like her, so.
mercenaries of the past.
they're ready.
Sorry, I'm a little busy right now.
Oh, she's obviously proud of making them for them, and they don't even look at her.
The Pentagon's new
She's like, what the hell? I put my heart and soul into
has
this.
produced a decisive difference between hired guns and the PMCs of today. The system was developed by Arms Tech Security.
Arms Tech? You mean AT Corp?
Yeah. In recent years, AT Corp has shifted focus from weapons development to security tools. And since the establishment of AT Security, business has been booming. The system makes it possible to integrate not only micro-level information on individual soldiers and units, but also macro-level information about field conditions and order of battle.
So they've finally achieved total real-time battlefield control.
That's right. And as a result, the global presence of PMCs has grown explosively. Truth is, the rise of system-controlled PMCs has led to a dramatic decline in civilian casualties and human rights violations on the battlefield.
A cleaner, safer battlefield. Makes for nice propaganda.
I was gonna say, what an oxymoron. A cleaner, safer battlefield. A more humane way of killing other people. Or killing each other, basically. A more humane war zone. It brings me back to what the Patriots were telling Raiden at the end of Metal Gear Solid 2, right? The contradictions of our society. And she is pissed.
Snake! You were smoking again, weren't you? This is a non-smoking flight.
Oh, she has a speech impediment.
There's more.
Hopefully nothing to do with pregnancy
State
complications.
governments and rebel groups can't match the maintenance price of standing forces. PMCs, by comparison, are reliable, easy to use. It wasn't long before everybody had them on the payroll. And, as a result, regular armies began to decline worldwide.
Hamill's getting up there in age, man. Getting old.
It's hard to believe, I know, but PMCs are beginning to overtake conventional armies in terms of scale. Nowadays, it's the PMCs who serve as standard battalions. They already make up 60% of all combatant forces in zones of conflict.
60%?
The fact is, the world now depends largely on PMCs for waging its wars.
I thought it was the UN that authorized the PMCs in the first place.
The US abstained from voting on that resolution. In effect, Washington was endorsing PMCs without ever revealing its true intentions. Until they got wind of the uprising, that is.
I mean, that's the kind of
The
shady
US
shit the
has
US always
exported
does.
too much military power, and now she's paying the price.
That's exactly it. America has now turned war into a form of economic activity. Analysts are calling it the war economy.
It always
and
kinda
that is
has been,
picking
but-
up the slack for the downward sloping oil market. But I, for one, don't intend to simply stand by and watch it happen. For the PMCs, market expansion entails fanning the flames of war. It means more refugees.
War orphans, child soldiers.
Heavily ties into the story of
Even
1984,
as
by the
PMC
way.
soldiers get more specialized, they're also getting younger.
Mercenaries spun off from state armies, unmanned weapons, child soldiers, proxy battles in a new Cold War.
There are hundreds of PMCs in business worldwide, and their numbers are growing. Currently, 5 of them are big enough to be labeled global powers, 2 in the US, and 1 each in the UK, France, and Russia. Reconnaissance has revealed that those 5 PMCs are run by a dummy corporation that acts as a single mother company. This mother company embodies the 5 largest PMCs. Her name is Outer Heaven.
Outer Heaven? You mean
That's right. It's Liquid.
Liquid?
He's taken command of this immense army and is now preparing to unleash an insurrection.
I watched him die.
His will lives on, in the body of the man once known as Ocelot. He aims to fan the flames of war even higher, to create the perfect world once envisioned by Big Boss.
The one world in which soldiers will always have a place.
He must be stopped, before it's too late. Do you understand, Snake?
Yeah, a world of constant war
Any
will keep
means
soldiers employed.
necessary. Just stop Liquid's insurrection. Even if it means
Killing him. You want Liquid dead? Isn't that right, Colonel?
I'm sorry. I know. This isn't justice. It's a covert assignment. A hired hit. A wet works op targeting the head of a major multinational corporation.
Why me?
Because of the military might of the PMCs and the effect they have on the economy. War is to the 21st century what oil was to the 20th, the pillar that supports the global economy.
Feels
You'll
too
recall
fucking
a
real,
rather
man.
alarming report issued by that American think tank during the Cold War. One that described a new model for perpetual war. What we're facing now is a whole new ballgame.
Iron Mountain's Delphi technique.
That was fiction. It existed only on paper. Reality is far more serious. The global community is concerned, but they're all too afraid of the war economy collapsing to do anything about it. The UN, too.
Sounds pretty self-serving to me.
Snake. This mission isn't an order from Washington. Not like the old days. And it's not something the UN can officially sanction either. But we can't just look the other way while Liquid plots this insurrection. If we fail to act, he'll become the greatest threat the world has ever faced. Snake. You're the only man I can trust.
Fine. Let's hear it.
Made things easier.
Our intelligence on Liquid's uprising originally comes via reports from U.S. Special Forces, who were mobilized after we at the UN reported our findings. They're tracking Liquid's movements.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm starting to vaguely recall that you do get to watch these as you play the game, including this first one. And I think you can actually collect items if I was actually playing the game already, which I'm not. I'm technically just watching the mission briefing from the main menu. So I think this is kind of a gamble, and it might extend this mission briefing, and we might have to rewatch bits and parts of it we already saw because of what I'm about to try. But I'm thinking I might skip, start the new game, hope that it gives me the option for this. Then, choose to watch it. We'll have to start over if that happens. But then I can collect the items here. Because when you're rolling around on this little robot that I'm using right now, you can actually bump into them, and they drop special items for you to use. I don't want to spoil what they are, because it's part of the story later, what they actually are, but that's why I was bumping into them earlier. But I think if you're just watching the mission briefing from the main menu like I am, you don't get the items. And I don't want us to have to sit through this entire briefing all over again, so I'm going to gamble on this. I'm going to hit new game and hope that it lets me watch the briefing and actually collect the items, because I can't collect them right now. I checked game facts for this. It did not say. It did not clarify about whether you have to do it here or actually play the game. I'm just going to assume that. But I do know there's items to be collected there. I saw it on game facts, and it reminded me that, I got them on my own as well when I played the game. I discovered them. And I was like, shit. So, let's see what happens. Okay, select the difficulty level. Liquid Easy. For players who aren't good at action games, easiest level. Naked Normal. They never said it in game, but that was the full code name for Snake in Metal Gear Solid 3. Big Boss, before he became known as Big Boss. He was actually called Naked Snake. I saw it in the synopsis on the menu where you choose between Metal Gear Solid 3 and Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 2. I read it after we finished the game, It wasn't a spoiler anymore. But he was actually codenamed Naked Snake. But they just used Snake for short during the entire game. They never actually said the whole thing. For players who don't like it too easy, how about Solid Normal? There's 2 normals here. For players who are skilled at action games, normal setting for Europe and North America. Oh, so this must be normal for Japan then. Big Boss Hard, for players who want to test their limits. There's one more difficulty level. Like always, you have to beat the game once to unlock it though. I think it's called the Boss Hard or something, named after, we know who she is now, since we played MGS3. Alright, Liquid Easy, because I'm a filthy casual.
You bastard!
Nice and even meal, easy on the heart, but good, filling. Has a nice taste to it. None of today's,
Oh, yeah. And if he says it's filling, it's filling. Believe me, he ain't lying. This guy doesn't joke around about his food. Oh, no. He is dead serious. And I'm sure it tastes delicious.
They can change color.
Yeah, you can change
skin
channels.
Texture. Some have even been observed walking on 2 arms and imitating a coconut.
You can see what television and media has become in this new age that they're living in. This is 2014, but the game was released in 2008, so it's like a potential vision of, or a vision of a potential future, basically. 7:30. The game show?
Business of war.
Business of War, which PMC had a humble beginning in France, but now manufactures 51.5 million firearms per year, and employs an armed force the size of Mexico and Canada's total populations combined.
What? What the fuck?
Oh
That's a
God.
huge military.
I know that one.
Oh, I doubt that.
Oh gosh. A.
Wrong.
B.
The correct answer is B. Melissa. Oh, Melissa. You knew the correct answer was B.
You should have tried just a little bit harder.
Was the answer choices the things floating in the background? Superficial life is death.
Qu'est-ce que la vie sans la mort? Qu'est-ce que la mort? Une vie ennuyeuse. La vie est surfaite. Chou la mort. Pieuvre armement. Attraction irrésistible.
There's a lot more to watch, but you can't do it all in one go, because eventually the time runs out and it just continues the game. There's a fuck ton of commercials you can only watch when you hit a new game like that, though. They're pretty interesting. They're all meant to have a dystopian feel to them. Like I said during the briefing, the story is heavily inspired by the book 1984. It's been that way since Metal Gear Solid 2, essentially. The idea of a world in constant and perpetual conflict to fuel an economy, quote unquote, through warfare, a warfare economy. That idea is very much a central theme in 1984, George Orwell's book. So, all right, let's see. In the not too distant future, on a tired battlefield, war has become routine, like a routine does. Fuck, we're not gonna get to see the briefing, are we? No. Well, it was a gamble. Like I said, I didn't know if it was gonna let me see it or not. I guess you're not allowed to. Fuck! Alright, well, I guess I have to reset then. So we can actually finish watching the briefing. But hey, at least when I hit new game, we'll actually be able to see more of those TV commercials or television shows than the ones we already saw, so that's something. Like I said, there's quite a few to watch. Now you can also see them by just being idle at the title screen like we saw, but you have to wait for the entire camera loop where Snake gets on his knees and gets ready to blow his own brains out. Like I said before, though, this game moves very slow. I called it a movie. It is. It moves very slow because it's basically a fucking movie. You thought the cutscenes in Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 were bad? This game takes the cake, alright? This game literally has... I'm pretty sure it's at least 1 hour, but it might have been 2 hours of nothing but straight cutscenes, no interruptions. The ending. I'm thinking of the ending here. I timed it one time. Back when this game first came out and I played it a couple times, I actually, when I got to the end, the second or third time I played through this game, I timed the moment you finish the actual gameplay, when you defeat the final boss, to when it's over, the credits and everything, was literally 1 to 2 hours. The full length of a movie is the ending of the game itself, by itself. The ending alone of this game is the length of an entire fucking movie. Do you understand that? Just the ending, after you hit the final hit on the last boss, it's an hour and a half at least, I think, of cutscenes plus credits. An entire movie length after you defeat the final boss. Okay? The rest of the game is no better. This is a movie. It's an interactive movie before Heavy Rain came out and, made it an actual meme. It's a fucking movie. You can't tell me otherwise. I know what I had before, so... Recall, lots on, inverted. Oops. There we go. What do we got? English, French, Deutsch, which is German, Italiano, Italian, Espanol, Spanish. How would you play the game without the background? Normal, yeah, whatever. Okay, cool. Now, alright, I guess we just have to watch this here. I guess maybe only in New Game Plus you can collect the items in the mission briefing. I tried though. Oh, I see what you have to do. You actually have to start the game, save the game, then come back to mission briefing, and then go to the mission briefing again, and then you can collect the items from the first one. I get it now. I'll do that off stream then, and we'll just sit here and watch the briefing without collecting the items for this first stream then. It's a problem when you haven't played the game in ages, dude. You forget these things, and then you end up using up a lot of stream time just figuring them out again when you're trying to remember, and you can't. And you try to remember how the game works, you know? Unfortunately, I don't think I can skip to where we were. Like, you can't skip certain segments, I think. You have to sit through the whole thing all over again, I'm pretty sure. Unfortunately. Here, let me see. Watch, it'll take us right back to the main menu. Wait.
The Manhattan incident triggered
Oh,
a
never mind, hold
serious
on. I think we can actually get back to where we were. Yes, we can. Oh, thank God. We don't have to lose that much time. So yeah, so far the Colonel Campbell here is giving us a bunch of exposition on the world we live in today. Well, I'm talking about the fictional universe, the Metal Gear Solid world, okay? How things are ever since the Manhattan incident, as he called it, which is, you know, the big shell Metal Gear Arsenal fiasco that happened in 2009. This is now 2014, so we're 5 years into the future now, and we now have a perpetual war economy, basically, driven by private military contractors, which spawned because of the big shell incident, making the world lose faith in the United States. So then the United States can no longer use its own army to intervene in places around the world, which it shouldn't be doing anyway. 9 times out of 10, it just causes more problems, but that's a whole other issue. So because the U.S., the main, you know, what do you call it? Like the biggest, one of the strongest military powers in the world, can no longer really operate anywhere because nobody trusts them anymore because they can't keep terrorist incidents in their own fucking backyard, you know, keep a lid on that. They saw that with the world saw that with the big shell incident in Metal Gear Solid 2. Now the U.S. instead had to, along with other countries, create, you know, they basically had to create private military contractors to fight their wars for them instead, so that they can technically say, hey, we're not actually there. You know, those are private military companies. Who knows who hired them? You know, basically playing the, I didn't hire them, I don't know who hired them. So there, everybody is, as the Colonel said, is fighting wars by proxy now, just like the Cold War, except on steroids, because there's literally no armies pledging allegiance to any nation that are fighting wars anymore, but rather countries are now fighting against each other by proxy of private military contractors, so you don't even know who the fuck is actually fighting who anymore. There's just a bunch of mercenaries, essentially. That's what a private military contractor is. It's just a bunch of mercenaries fighting each other for who knows who. Like, only capturing and interrogating them could you probably find out which country they're working for. So it's like Call of Duty Black Ops, but like on roids or something. Like, it's all just shady-ass warfare for the sake of warfare now. Just to keep some stupid fake artificial economy going. Not too different from real life. Different, but not too much. Sadly. Alright, let's see. I think this should take us back to where I had control. There we go. Here we are.
Understand, Snake. Any means necessary.
Oh, right. And so yeah, Campbell told us that, and then he said that Liquid Snake, in possession of Ocelot's body now through the right arm that Ocelot got, so I guess we can call him Liquid Ocelot, is the head of a mother corporation that actually owns the 5 private military contractor companies that operate in the US, the UK, France, and Russia. I don't know if he said, that's 4 different countries. Did he say 5? Maybe not. I'm not sure. But I know it's 5 different PMCs, companies that are all funded from this one, like, umbrella corporation. Not to be confused with, like, Umbrella from Resident Evil. That's just the term used for, like, a corporation that owns a bunch of smaller ones, right? And that umbrella corporation is called Outer Heaven. And of course, the owner of that is Liquid Ocelot. And he's, you know, he wants to perpetuate this, you know, never-ending world war, basically, economy, so that soldiers will always have a place, because that's what Big Boss wanted. When he established the original Outer Heaven, that base in Metal Gear 1. Liquid wants to do that and then surpass it, go beyond, or whatever the fuck, you know, daddy issues, basically. He wants to defeat his father, who's already dead, Big Boss, by surpassing him or whatever. So this is what he wants to do, I guess. And as we go through the game, we'll see how it still ties back into what happened in Metal Gear Solid 2 and the Patriots, of course, because this game's called Guns of the Patriots. It's not like it's not going to refer to that at some point, but I don't think it does so in the first mission briefing. Everything will be revealed slowly and soon, but yeah, okay, that's a recap of what we just skipped. For anyone curious.
Just stop Liquid's insurrection. Even if it means
Killing him. You want Liquid dead. Isn't that right, Colonel?
I'm sorry. I know. This isn't justice. It's a covert assignment. A hired hit.
While this plays, I'm going to check the audio on my
Web
phone.
works up targeting the head
Actually, on
of
my
a
desktop.
major multinational corporation.
Why me?
Because of the military might of the PMCs and the effect they have on the economy. War is to the 21st century what oil was to the 20th, the pillar that supports the global economy. You'll recall a rather alarming report issued by that American think tank during the Cold War. One that described a new model for perpetual war. What we're facing now is a whole new ballgame.
Iron Mountain's Delphi technique.
That was fiction. It existed only on paper. The reality is far more serious. The global community is concerned, but they're all too afraid of the war economy collapsing to do anything about it. The UN, too.
Sounds pretty self-serving to me.
What happens when you base your entire
Snake.
economy around one thing, right?
This mission isn't an order from Washington.
I'm testing the audio right now,
The
so
old days. And it's not
that was
something
relevant
the UN
commentary,
can
but it was also me
officially
testing
sanction
the audio
either.
balance.
But we can't just look the other way while Liquid plots this insurrection. If we fail to act, he'll become the greatest threat the world has ever faced. Snake. You're the only man I can trust.
Fine. Let's hear it.
Our intelligence on Liquid's uprising originally comes via reports from U.S. Special
Again,
Forces.
still testing the audio. I
who
maxed out the game
mobilized
volume now.
after we at the UN
It sounds really
reported our
quiet on the
findings.
stream.
They're tracking Liquid's movements. About 18 hours ago, he was spotted in the Middle East.
There's a rebel army in the Middle East, made up of ethnic minorities, waging civil war against the regime in power.
The core of that regime's army is provided by one of the PMCs under Liquid's control.
What? What about the rebels?
The local militias have hired small numbers of operators as trainers and field commanders. And of course, they've got help from the local PMCs.
Right. A proxy war between hired guns.
PMC versus PMC. A quagmire of war. All too typical victims of the new world economy.
Bunch of mercenaries just
Snake,
killing each other for no
You'll be
reason.
sneaking into the conflict zone via transport truck, disguised as one of the rebel army's hired operators. Your first objective is to make contact with our informants, Rat Patrol Team 01. They'll be expecting you.
Rat Patrol, huh? They sound sneaky.
They're a special forces team assigned to the Army's PMC Investigation Unit, CID.
CID. Real rats of the Army.
No. I can vouch for them personally.
Friends of yours?
You could say
Alright, it looks like the soundboard and the game are balanced. Now hopefully my voice will be balanced with the game as well once the action starts.
transportation to the area will
What
be
action,
provided
right?
under cover of a
It'll get-
UN humanitarian aid mission.
Don't worry, it's not all just talking.
Support from the U.S. military. From there on, though, you'll get no protection and no guarantees from anyone. And you must not leave behind any evidence of your involvement in the area, let alone that of the UN. If word of this ever leaked out, it would spark a global firestorm. Snake. Will you do this for me? Will you terminate Liquid?
I'm not like the PMCs. I don't need your money.
Thank you.
But if you're going to spark something, spark this. Fine. I'll start my own fire.
I think there's okay, that wasn't too long. I think there's also, aside from collecting items, there's little Easter eggs you can see. Oh shit, hold on, my stream's still playing. So yeah, I have the game audio maxed out as well as my microphone maxed out now too, both of them. The desktop audio is at 80% for the soundboard. That seems to be good. Any higher than that, the soundboard will be too fucking loud. But yeah, this game just seems to be quiet, because even maxed out, I was listening to my stream just now, and it just... At least the dialogue seems pretty fucking quiet, dude. But I think that's just... You know, it's like the codec calls in MGS2. The audio, when they talk, is really quiet, but then when we get to the action, it's probably gonna be super fucking loud. When shit actually starts happening on screen, you know? Wait, let me shut off my stream. I've done all I can. Alright, there we go. Sorry if y'all heard an echo. It probably went through my speakers and back into my microphone. Alright, the desktop audio is back on. Well, I'll leave them both maxed out and I'll watch the VOD back later and hopefully it's all good. But yeah, that was the Mission 1 briefing. I thought it went on longer, honestly. Anyway, sorry, too many thoughts at once. I was saying, there's little things you can see, like, for example, you can go up the stairs to where Sunny is, which they're making it pretty obvious with the picture of Olga on the kitchen wall that that's probably Olga's daughter. Especially the matching hair color and everything. I think you can, like, in some mission briefings, because there's 5 acts, and in some of them you can actually see her doing stuff like she'll be playing like a little Game Boy, like a little portable video game basically, if you go up there and check on her, amongst other things. I actually, once I finished checking my audio, I tried to get control of the little robot again, but it didn't let me anymore because it was at the end of the briefing. Or right at the part where he asked him to spark his cigarette for him. And the Colonel's just like, like shaking his head like, God damn it, I'm not gonna enable your fucking smoking habit. I'm not gonna help you kill yourself, basically. Or he just, you know, he realized Snake probably said that as like kind of a joke. Trying to make a lighthearted joke during a very dark and grim discussion about assassinating the leader of a gigantic multinational corporation, which is what Liquid Ocelot has become, basically. And he's worse than fucking Elon and Jeff. He's become like the king fucking tyrant billionaire of the world in this universe. But yeah. So yeah, there's It's like he was just trying to brighten the lighten the mood a little bit. He's like, if you're gonna spark something, spark this. And the Colonel was just like, this asshole. Like, this is serious, Snake. You can't be making jokes like that when talking about this, you know? So this seems to be like a personal favor to the Colonel, just because he doesn't want to see the world continue to go down this road of perpetual warfare for its economy. Which, of course, I'm with him. Yeah, fuck that. But also because he doesn't, you know, he knows that Liquid's not just gonna stop there, but also, you know, he said he's planning an insurrection to basically do what Big Boss tried to do in Metal Gear 1 and 2. Wage war against all the nations of the world, the entire world basically. In this case, Liquid's going to be using private military contractors. Again, Big Boss ran a mercenary group called Foxhound. It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. He's trying to do the exact same thing that Big Boss tried in the 90s. Waging war against the entire world using mercenaries and himself. He really is trying to imitate and surpass Daddy, I guess. Also, did you notice the chickens they have for the eggs are named after all of them? Solid, Liquid, and Solidus. That's why Sonny said Solidus must have taken a day off because there was only 2 eggs. They only had 2 eggs to make food with instead of 3. They only got 3 chickens, I guess.